What if the very moment you wanted to quit, that exact second when your hands were shaking, your heart was racing, and that cold voice inside your head whispered, "You are not enough"? What if that was not a warning? What if that was not the universe telling you to stop? What if that trembling, that fear, that crushing weight of doubt you felt deep in your chest, what if that was actually the universe preparing you for something so magnificent, so powerful, so life-changing that your small mind could not yet contain it? What if doubt was never your enemy? What if doubt was simply the last test before your breakthrough? What if every single person who ever achieved something extraordinary felt exactly what you are feeling right now, and they walked through it anyway? You are watching this for a reason. You did not stumble here by accident. Something inside you is ready. Something inside you already knows the truth. And by the time this video ends, you will never look at your doubt the same way again. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share will change everything. What if everything you were ever taught about doubt was completely, fundamentally, and dangerously wrong? Think about that for a moment. From the time you were a child, you were handed a belief, an invisible belief that was never written on paper but was spoken through every disappointed look, every discouraging word, every moment someone told you to be realistic, to be careful, to not aim too high. And slowly, quietly, without even realizing it, you began to treat doubt as truth. You began to believe that when doubt arrived, it was a message from reality itself, telling you that you were not capable, not worthy, not ready. But what if doubt is not a message from reality? What if doubt is simply a signal, a vibration, a knock on the door of your consciousness that says something bigger than your current self is trying to emerge? There is a profound difference between a signal and a truth. A traffic light is a signal. It does not tell you that driving is dangerous. It does not tell you that the road ahead is impossible. It simply says pause, prepare, and then move forward. Doubt is the same thing. It is a yellow light in your mind, not a dead end. But most human beings, when they see that yellow light, they slam on the brakes and they never move again. What if the greatest tragedy of human life is not failure? What if the greatest tragedy is the life that was never lived because a person listened to doubt as though it were God speaking? You were born into this world with zero doubts. Let that land. A newborn baby does not look at its feet and wonder whether it should try to walk. A child learning to speak does not ask, "What if my words are not good enough?" No, children exist in a state of pure, fearless becoming. They fall, they rise, they fall again, they laugh, they try again. The idea that they might not be capable does not even exist in their consciousness. So where did your doubt come from? It was not born with you. It was built into you, layer by layer, word by word, experience by experience, by a world that had forgotten its own greatness and wanted company in its forgetting. And here is what is truly shocking. The people who doubted you the most were not your enemies. They were simply people who had been doubted themselves and had never learned how to question the doubt that lived inside them. Doubt is inherited, doubt is contagious. Doubt is a story told so many times that it starts to feel like history, when in reality, it is nothing more than fiction dressed in the costume of certainty. What if I told you that every single moment of doubt you have ever experienced was actually pointing you toward your purpose, not away from it? When doubt arrives and says you cannot build that business, what it is really revealing is that you care deeply about that business. You cannot doubt something you do not love. You cannot doubt a path that does not matter to you. The intensity of your doubt is directly proportional to the intensity of your desire. Think about that. The bigger the dream burning inside you, the louder the doubt that tries to protect your ego from the possibility of disappointment. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. Doubt is faith being tested. There is a moment, a specific, sacred, terrifying moment that every human being faces at least once in their lifetime. It is the moment standing at the edge of everything you have ever wanted. And in that moment, two voices speak simultaneously. One voice says, "Step forward, this is yours." And the other voice, the doubt, says, "What if you fall? What if you fail? What if you are not enough?" And in that moment, most people step back. Most people choose the familiar prison over the uncertain freedom. And they spend the rest of their lives wondering, what would have happened if I had just taken that one step? What if that one step was the only thing standing between the life you are living and the life you were meant to live? Here is the truth that will rearrange your entire understanding of yourself. Your thoughts are not you. This is not a simple idea. This is a revolutionary, life-altering, world-shifting truth. You are not your doubt. You are the awareness that observes the doubt. You are the consciousness that watches the thought float through your mind like a cloud passing through an open sky. The sky does not become the cloud. The sky does not chase the cloud away in panic. The sky simply remains, vast, unchanged, infinite, while the cloud passes. You are the sky. Doubt is just a cloud. But the moment you forget that you are the sky and you start to believe that you are the cloud, that is when suffering begins. That is when you shrink. That is when you silence your voice, dim your light, and apologize for the size of your dreams. You begin editing yourself for a world that never asked you to be small in the first place. What if the world does not need your edited version? What if the world is desperately, urgently, hungrily waiting for your full, unedited, undiminished self? The most powerful shift a human being can make is not a change in circumstance. It is not a new job, a new city, a new relationship. The most powerful shift is the moment a person looks at their doubt and instead of surrendering to it, they get curious about it. Because when you get curious about doubt, it loses its power. When you ask doubt, what are you really trying to tell me? The answer is almost never stop. The answer is almost always grow. Doubt says, you are not experienced enough. And what that really means is, go gain the experience. Doubt says, what if people laugh at you? And what that really means is, your comfort zone has walls that are too small for the life trying to expand inside you. Doubt says, you have tried before and failed. And what that really means is, you have data, you have wisdom. You are now more prepared than you have ever been. Doubt is not your destroyer. Doubt is your developer. What if failure is not the worst thing that can happen to you? What if the worst thing that can happen to you is succeeding at being someone you were never meant to be? So many people have mastered lives that were never truly theirs. They built the careers their parents approved of. They married the partners their community expected. They silenced the art, the business, the calling, the mission that lived inside them because doubt convinced them it was too risky, too strange, too ambitious, and they achieved success, real, measurable, visible success. And they lay awake at night feeling completely, inexplicably empty because you cannot fill a soul with someone else's dream. There is a part of you, deeper than your personality, deeper than your history, deeper than every label that has ever been placed upon you, that knows exactly why you are here. It has always known. It knew before the doubt arrived. It knew before the disappointment settled in. It knew before the world told you who to be. And that knowing, that quiet, persistent, undefeatable knowing, is the truest thing about you. Doubt cannot destroy it. Doubt can only delay it. And here is the part that should genuinely shock you into action. Time is the only currency you cannot earn back. Every day spent paralyzed by doubt is a day of your one and only, irreplaceable, non-refundable life that is gone forever. Not resting, not paused, gone. And the saddest deathbed confession in all of human history is not, I wish I had failed less. It is, I wish I had tried more. It is, I wish I had trusted myself when it mattered. It is, I wish I had not let doubt make my decisions. What if today, not someday, not when the timing is perfect, not when you feel completely ready? What if today is the day you decide that doubt no longer gets a vote in your future? You do not have to eliminate doubt. You do not have to pretend it does not exist. You do not have to perform some kind of false, manufactured, hollow confidence that has no roots. What you have to do, all you have to do, is recognize doubt for exactly what it is. A signal, not a truth. A knock on the door, not the answer. A cloud in the sky, not the sky itself. And the next time doubt whispers in your ear that you are not enough, I want you to say, out loud or in the cathedral of your own heart, thank you for showing me how much this matters to me. And I am doing it anyway, because that is what courage actually is. Courage is not the absence of doubt. Courage is the decision that something matters more than your doubt. Courage is saying yes to your life, even when every fearful thought inside you is screaming no. Courage is the muscle that grows every single time you move forward, despite the trembling in your chest. And you already have that muscle. It is already inside you. Every time you have ever done something difficult, every time you have ever gotten back up after falling, every time you have ever chosen to try one more time despite every reason not to, you were using that muscle. You have been building it your entire life without even knowing it. What if you have always been braver than your doubt has allowed you to believe? The life you desire is not on the other side of perfect conditions. It is not waiting for you to become someone different. It is not reserved for people who were born without fear. It is on the other side of the very doubt you are feeling right now. Walk through it, not around it, not away from it, through it. Because on the other side of doubt is not just success. On the other side of doubt is you, fully alive, fully expressed, fully in alignment with the extraordinary, magnificent, one-of-a-kind human being that you were born to be. And that person, that version of you, has been waiting patiently, with infinite love and without a single judgment, for you to arrive. So let us bring everything together into the single most important truth of this entire conversation. Doubt is not your identity. Doubt is not your destiny. Doubt is not the final word on who you are or what you are capable of. Doubt is simply a signal, a messenger, arriving at the door of your consciousness to tell you that growth is available, that transformation is knocking, that something magnificent is trying to find its way through you into this world. The question was never whether doubt would come. The question is what you choose to do the moment it arrives. You can surrender to it and live a carefully diminished life inside the borders that fear drew for you. Or you can look at it, understand it, respect it as the signal it truly is, and then walk forward anyway, with purpose in your step and fire in your heart toward the life that was always, always yours. The choice is yours. It has always been yours. And it begins right now, in this moment, with a single decision: to trust yourself more than you trust your doubt.